Okay, I just want to come back and finish off some of these problems because I know that some of y'all wanted to review over more of these. So to continue here with Renee's coffee problem, we had stated, you know what, I have time, let me erase that, put it in pink. So if he bought 6 coffees, that would be $9. Now, obviously, if he bought 7 coffees, that would be, well, each coffee is $1.50, so that would be $10.50. And if he bought 8 coffees, that would be $12. So that makes sense that they did have the range over here. Now, the thing is, it wasn't asking for range, it was asking for domain. So that's why we would also cross off B. Okay, let's go ahead and continue to our next problem. Now, Catherine. Catherine is filling a 5-gallon bucket with water. It can take up to 3 minutes to fill the bucket. If X is representing time it takes to fill up the bucket and Y is representing the amount of water in the bucket, we're asking continuous or discrete. So recall, there we go, I wanted to go ahead and make sure it was nice and organized here. So remember that continuous situations, we can measure the input, so that's using fractions and decimals. That means we can cut it into parts. And discrete, our input is counted. We're going to use whole numbers. We're not going to divvy up into parts. I was specific and I said input, aka X. So since my X is time, am I going to count my time using whole numbers, or can I measure time using fractions and decimals? So I gave you guys a hint. It says over here, discrete, because you can only, I'm actually seeing some typos here. So let's actually discuss this one here. So remember, my input is time. Think of it like a stopwatch. All right. I know it looks more like an alien, but you know, whatever. There's a 12, 3, a 6, a 9. Actually, that's a clock, not a stopwatch, right? So usually, whenever you have your stopwatch, it starts at 0, right? 0, and then it doesn't just have 0, it's like 0.00, right? And then you click it right here and you go. So then the stopwatch changes from 0.0 and that looks awful, but you know what I mean, 0.01. And then 0.02, 0.03. So this stopwatch is actually measuring, measuring my time. And that's why it has decimals in it. Now, yes, of course, on a clock, we are using whole numbers. But actually, if you take a look at here, this is a perfect example of how I measure my time. Now, as time is going by, I can say at 3.58 seconds, I don't have to always say 1 minute, 2 minute. So I would actually say that this is continuous because I can say that I have 2.5 minutes, or actually this looks more like 2.75 minutes. All right. So because I can measure my time, I would say that it is continuous because I can, and I'll type that in here. There we go. Because I can measure my time using decimals, just like we did here and over here with a stopwatch. Okay, sorry, I had to move everything down. So again, we're taking a look here, and I'm going to grab my highlighter. Oh, I'm sorry. I chopped off the question. Let me fix that. There we go. So here it says the same information, that my x time in minutes, and that my y is representing the amount of water in gallons. All right. And it says, what is the range of this function? So recall, we had said that range, we're concerned about y values. That's our output. So we have two different things going here. If we look back over here, last time we were talking about domain x values, but specifically we had discrete data. Now this time we have continuous data. So the continuous or domain the continuous domain or range is going to look like a number is less than or equal to, well, x if we're talking about domain, but in this case, we're actually talking about y, and then less than, or it could also be, oops, wrong one. Sorry, that's actually alt code 243. Okay, there we go. So in case you want to alt, that's 243. That's going to give you the less than or equal to symbol. All right, so whenever you have domain and range, you're going to have the less than symbol. So let me write that in. So if you have an open circle, that also means exclusive. You're going to use the less than symbol. But if you have a solid circle, that means it is inclusive. That's whenever you use the less than or equal to sign. Okay, so that's what we're going to be discussing right now. All right, so taking a look back at our problem, you know what? Let's see if we can get rid of a couple of these. Yeah, we'll use that red one. There we go. So we have over here on top, we have continuous looking data for the domain and range. So those look good, but at the bottom, that kind of looks like discrete, just like we had last time. So right off the bat, you should be able to say, hey, I've got a continuous situation. So I'm going to say C and D are not correct because that's discrete information. I have continuous. Okay, now at this point, you should be able to get your answer, but I want to talk y'all through it. All right. So because I'm talking about range, well, here's a Y. All right, and there's an X, cough, cough. You know, that kind of gives it away. But Y is representing the amount of water in gallons. So even though it's going to be on a table just so that we can help make sense of this. All right. Sorry, it kind of took me a minute to draw that out here. So because it's continuous, I know that I want to have a graph, not a table. I didn't want to confuse y'all. So this is going to be my number of minutes, my x-axis, and my y-axis are the number of gallons. So in this case, whenever I am at 0 minutes, because what's happening here is they are filling up a bucket with water. So at 0 minutes, how much water do you think I got? Let's go with green. Well, I have no water. My bucket is empty. So I'm going to put a little dot right there. All right. Now, after 1 minute, let me see, because yes, it's, actually after 3 minutes. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 minutes. It says that, let's see here, it takes up to 3 minutes to fill up the actual bucket. So that means if the bucket is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Sorry, I'm not numbering because that would be just god awful. It's saying that it takes 3 minutes to fill up the bucket. If the bucket is 5 gallons and it takes 3 minutes to fill up all 5 gallons, that means I get to put another little dot right here. And let's connect it up. Hey, that's not too bad. All right. Now, taking a look at this graph, I would say that the x value begins at 0. Now, I also have a solid dot right here because I'm saying at 0 minutes, I have 0 water. So that's why I have an inclusive symbol. Y, all right, y-axis. And I go all the way up to the top. Here we go. So that would mean if that's 0 and that, oh, actually, sorry. There we go. I made it correct now. This comes over to the 5, and it's again another inclusive solid dot, so I have a less than or equal to symbol. There we go. That makes sense. Now, notice here what they had actually given us was the correct domain. So you have to be very careful and make sure you read the problems. Like I said, you're going to have a highlighter available, so please highlight. Now, this would be a good reason to be using a highlighter and also a scratch piece of paper. Now, on this problem, it's asking for the domain. Now, remember, I am giving you some test-taking strategies. If I'm asking for domain, obviously, domain are the x values, okay? So let's take a look back over here. So if I'm looking for x values, I see I don't need y or y. Now, this one was pretty nice because it's already telling you that this graph is connected. So that means got a little messy there, but it is continuous. So we are going to have our less than symbols. Now, recall, we have inclusive less than or equal to, and also exclusive less than. So as you'll notice, it's the exact same problem, but we need to make sure we're using the correct symbols. Now, this is why I had the review so that we could go over this. Now, taking a look here, my x values, I already have my highlighter. We read domain from left to right. So the left side begins right here. Now, actually, I have an open circle there, so I'd like, can hardly see it, but to draw a dashed line because I am not including that value. So we have our exclusive symbol here on -4. And I'm going to go all the way over to the right side. And again, I have another dashed line because I have an open circle. And that's at 2. So again, I'm exclusive at +2. Well, that made it that much easier. My final answer here would be my A. There we go. The reason that this is incorrect is because it is not inclusive. That would mean that these dots would be filled in, and they're not. Okay, next one. Ooh, so now what is the range in this relation? So range, that's talking about, oops, wrong one. Range are y values. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that again. So if I'm looking for range, that means I read bottoms up. So start at the bottom and then go up. Remember the trees. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So if I start at the bottom, I'm going to use this to here we go. Ooh, I have a solid dot. So solid dot means inclusive. Okay, so let's go ahead and chug on up. And this is the end of the line. So let's go ahead and, actually, I've got an open circle. So let's make a non-solid line. Okay. Okay. Now, again, taking a look at our question, it says range. And we said range are y values. So that tells me that I can go ahead and eliminate a couple of these. And that would be these two because they have x's. Whew, that makes it a lot easier. Oh, D and B, they both look like they're not exactly the same. They differ right here. So let's go ahead and start with the bottom values. So the bottom values, we said were solid, so that means that they are inclusive, and they're inclusive at -2. Okay, so far, both of these are correct. Okay, now, if we go all the way to the top, we have a dashed line. And dashed lines mean exclusive. So I'm exclusive at +2. Oh, so that means I should have a less than symbol at +2. I'm going to make it dark just like I had that other one there. Okay, so that means my final answer would be B. So you notice that we're trying to make this simple for y'all. I want you to use your test-taking strategies to try and eliminate things just like we eliminated here. That one's not correct because, there we go, sorry. Because that would mean that this would be shaded in, and that's, well, not the case. It's an open circle that's exclusive. That means I use the less than symbol, which was correct in B. Oh dear, now this one, it's asking for some more information. It wants the domain and range, so it's taking it up a notch. Well, actually, this isn't too bad because it's already telling me here, because it's giving me a whole bunch of braces. Remember, braces mean discrete data, and obviously, look at it. It's all disconnected. We have a scatter plot. Now, remember what I told you? It might be a little bit easier to take the scatter plot and using a sheet of paper. Let me draw that a little bit better. And make an XY table. So I'm going to go ahead and use a colored pen here so I can go ahead and mark off each one of these. Now, like I said, the best thing, remember, since domain is reading from left to right and range is bottoms up, I'm going to go ahead and start this off by moving from the left to the right. And I'm going to grab all of my values, okay? So, starting from the left side, oh man, I have 3 points here. That's why I want to use a color so I could cross them off. All right, so let's start with this one right here. That's -5, comma, -4. Okay. All right, let's go to this next one. That's -5, 1. So, -5, 1. Oh, hey. Right off the bat, you guys could tell me function or not a function. Not a function. My X is repeating. And yeah, if I were to do a vertical line test, it would fail right here. So that one's -5 and +5. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next one over here at -2, -3. Oof, -3. And then my last one is here. Oh, don't function up here. I think some people would. This one would be 3 is the X value, all right? And the Y value is -2. All right, I'm pretty sure that they would do that to mess y'all up. But you guys are smart. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't function y'all up. So let's start with domain. All right, so domain are the X values. So if these are my X values, I'm going to go ahead and type it out over here. I'm going to say domain, or I'm just going to write D for domain. I'm going to open up my brace. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the smallest number. Now remember, my numbers are going to be from least to greatest, so starting from left to right. Ascending, that means getting bigger. So this is the most negative number, that's -5. Now the thing is, notice how it repeats 1, 2, 3 times. Now whenever it comes to domain, you don't have to repeat your values. I think that's where a lot of people would mess up. So let's go ahead and retype that here. So my domain is, so that should be a capital D. Okay. We're going to start with -5, comma, and then we're going to move on to the next one, -2, comma, and then 3. Don't forget to close it. All right. Perfect. Now, my range, on the other hand, those are my Y values. That's my bottoms up. Now, you'll notice my range values, they are not in ascending order. We have to think this one through. So, I'm going to put this down here. Range is still going to have an open brace. Now here, -4, 1, 5, -3, -3. Now, if you need to, you could always draw a number line. Okay, or you could even, cheat and come over here and fill them out, because -4 would be, well, over here. I'm kind of looking up here. And then 1 would be all the way over here. Okay. 5 is over here. Okay, -3. Now remember, we don't need all of them. All right. -3 looks like it's over here. Okay. Make sure I have a legible 4 there. There we go. Okay, so by kind of writing it out, that's why, again, scratch paper, we could say that in ascending order, least to greatest, I would say that my range starts with -4, -3, 1, and then 5. All right. Now, because we know that the scatter plot is disconnected, that it's discrete, again, we can take out half of our answers here, because we know that discrete uses braces. This, and it also even has like commas between everything, right? Just so you can really get an idea of what discrete looks like. So, because this is a discrete, disconnected scatter plot, I can say that C is not the answer. That looks like continuous. And same with D. That also looks continuous. Now, I already have my answer over here. So it looks like the only difference between these two is that they had the domain, the X and the Y values switched. So here we have -5, -2, 3, and -4, -3. Uh-oh, did we mess up and we have a -2 missing here? O function. I said it out loud correctly, but I wrote it wrong. Let me fix that. I told y'all to watch out for that. I said that was 3, -2, but I miswrote over here. So in that case, that means that my -2 is right here. And let's go ahead and fix that over here. There we go. Oh, okay. All right. My bad. I'm only human. So in that case, we definitely see the right answer. And it's A. Here we go, our domain and our range. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Oh, actually, that was number 19. That's it. So we went over all of those other problems. I can't remember, I think up to number 16. And now that's 19. If you are still needing some assistance, you're trying this on your own and it still doesn't make sense watching the video, please email me. Don't put a private comment because it's all of that is attendance. So I get a million of those. Email me if you have specific problems that you'd like to go over. And I'll also see if I can turn this into a PDF to help you guys out as well. All right. I'll see you guys Tuesday. Yeah. So don't forget, we have our test tomorrow. Our benchmark is tomorrow. You must take it. All right. During the weekend. If not, it's going to lock you out and you can't take that test again. All right. Have a good weekend, y'all. Don't forget to sign in tomorrow.